All right, think about this. Let's say you are in your 50s, you've been saving like crazy in your 401k all your life, and it becomes a sizable amount, maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million or more. And you think, you know what, maybe I can retire early. But then you remember that pesky little rule that if you tap into that 401k before age 59 and a half, you will have to pay a 10% penalty. So you think, well, that's it. I'll just have to wait a few years. But what if I told you there was another rule that's not so pesky? A rule that would allow you to access your 401k before age 59 and a half without the 10% penalty. And that could allow you to retire early. It's called the Rule of 55, and it could be your key to unlock the door to early retirement. My name is Keith Wilson, a financial advisor, helping folks just like you retire with confidence. And in this video, I will show you how the Rule of 55 works, the mistakes to avoid, and how to use it to your advantage. So let's get to it. So let's get clear on what the rule actually says. First of all, it's an IRS provision that only pertains to 401k plans and 403b plans. And it states that if you separate from your job, and that could be you quitting, retiring, or being laid off, it doesn't matter. If that happens in the calendar year you turn 55 or later, you can start taking withdrawals from that specific employer's 401k or 403b without paying the 10% early withdrawal penalty. Look, that's huge. Now, you'll still owe regular income taxes just like you would with any traditional retirement account, but that pesky 10% penalty, gone. This means that for someone in their mid-50s who's ready to retire, the Rule of 55 can completely change the math. Instead of waiting until 59 and a half, you can start drawing income earlier and actually enjoy the years when you're still relatively young, healthy, and active. And there's no set amount you have to take out. That's up to you and your income plan. Now, here's the critical part. This rule is powerful, but it's also fragile. So if you don't get the details right, you can lose access to it completely. So let's say you turn 55 in November and you want to retire. Because of the way the rule is written, you can separate from your job anytime between January 1 and December 31 of the year you turn 55 and you'll qualify. Now, the timing has to line up with the calendar year of your 55th birthday or later. But here's the big trap that trips people up. The money has to stay in your employer's 401k plan. So if you roll it into an IRA, you're instantly disqualified from using the Rule of 55. IRAs don't allow this provision. So don't be so quick to roll your money into an IRA in this event. It sounds harmless, but it could cost you years of penalty-free access. Now, the other thing to consider is that the Rule of 55 only works with your most recent employer, not old 401ks. For example, just the other day, had a gentleman reach out to me. After he was watching several of my videos, and he wanted to discuss his own retirement plan. So he is 54 and last year left his job to pursue another career. Now, he still has that old 401k plan with the previous employer. So what he was thinking was his plan was to retire next year when he was 55, and that old 401k plan, it had over $1 million in it. So his plan was to tap into that plan, that 401k plan, the old one, using the Rule of 55. Well, that won't work. It's got to be with your current employer's plan when you separate. So he was a little shocked because since he just started his new job, there was not a lot of money in the current 401k plan. But here's the thing to consider. If you have an old 401k plan, you could roll that into your current 401k plan before you retire. Now, that's the key. It has to be before you separate. If not, once you retire, then all bets are off on that old 401k, and it cannot be used for the Rule of 55. Oh, by the way, you may want to take advantage of a free retirement checkup like this gentleman did. Check out the resources below to get in touch with me. Now, another thing to consider is this. Even though the IRS allows the rule of 55, not all employer plans allow it. It's really up to their specific plan agreement. So you need to ask your custodian of that 401k if they allow the rule of 55 before you pull the trigger. And here's another thing to check into. Some 401k plans don't allow partial withdrawals. So it could be that your only option is to take a full distribution. Even if they allow the rule of 55 to avoid the 10% penalty, you're still on the hook for the taxes. So that's why before you do anything, you need to review your plan documents carefully and ask direct questions like, does this plan allow partial distributions for someone age 55 or older after separation? If not, the strategy may not work as well as you think. So if the plan allows the rule of 55 and they allow for partial distributions, you could be home free. But what if the plan doesn't allow it or doesn't allow partial distributions? And you're thinking, man, I want to retire early. I've got the money to do it. I just don't want to pay that 10% penalty. Well, here's another idea. If that's the case, you could utilize the 72T rule. It applies to both IRAs or 401k plans, but some 401k plans don't allow it. And if your 401k plan didn't allow the rule of 55, it is doubtful that they would allow the 72T rule. So here's how it works. So if you rolled the 401k plan into an IRA, then you could have access to this rule. And again, here's how it works. The 72T rule, also called substantially equal periodic payments, does let you take penalty-free withdrawals from IRAs and 401ks, but it comes with handcuffs. So once you start, you're locked into fixed payments. Could be annual, quarterly, monthly, doesn't matter. You're locked in for at least 5 years or until you hit age 59 and a half, whichever is longer. And here's the thing, there's no adjusting the amount if your situation changes. You're just locked in. So think about it. If markets tank, you can't reduce the withdrawals. If you suddenly need more, you can't increase them. It's rigid, but with some planning, it could help with your income stream before age 59 and a half. Now, another consideration is if you have a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, you always have access to the contributions. All those contributions you made, you have access tax and penalty free. So you could tap into that to bridge the gap to age 59 and a half. But here's a caveat on the Roth. It needs to be at least 5 years old in order to withdraw the contributions without penalty and tax. But really, the rule of 55 can outshine all of this. It gives you access to what's probably your biggest retirement account, your 401k. And it lets you decide how much to take out and when. 1 year you could pull, $60,000 out. The next year, nothing at all. It's flexible. And that flexibility makes it one of the most powerful tools available for people planning to retire in their mid-50s. So, how do you put all of this into action? Well, first, confirm that you actually qualify. Are you in the year you turn 55 or older? Did you separate from your employer in that window? If not, the rule doesn't apply. Second, dig into your plan documents. Don't just call HR and ask about the rule of 55. They may not even know what you're talking about. So get the actual plan documents. Get the actual summary plan description and look for terms like separation from service, distribution options, or withdrawals at 55. Now, third, model your cash flow. Don't just assume you'll be fine. Run the numbers, figure out how much you'll need to withdraw each year to maintain your lifestyle and, account for taxes. Even if you avoid the penalty, the IRS still wants its cut. Now, fourth, consolidate. If you've got old 401ks sitting with past employers, consider rolling them into your current 401k plan before you leave your job. That way, they'll all qualify under the rule of 55. And that's giving you access to a larger pool of funds. And finally, don't try to go at it alone. This is not the time for DIY guesswork. So a financial advisor can help you run scenarios. They can stress test your plan against market downturns, and just make sure you don't make a costly mistake. Anyways, I hope you have found this information helpful. If so, consider subscribing to the channel so you will be notified when I post other content. Hope to see you next time. Take care. If you like what you're seeing so far, check out this next video. Subscribe to the channel. Lord willing, we'll see you next time.